Hamashiach Yahushai. Kwam Yasha Allah, hallelujah.
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 All praises to the Most High and His beloved Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. This is the Marshal Allah, Hebrew chosen elect, house of David, and this is the Most High's high holy day, the Shabbat. And as always, we praise the Most High for His high holy day. Okay, we've been hearing a lot in the news. You got Kanye West going around talking about that we are Shemetic, and they come back at him saying you're anti-Shemetic, and Kanye West says, how could I be anti-Shemetic when I'm a Shemite? Okay?
Right.
And he's right. And so we can understand he's right. Now we have to understand that Kanye West, he's up in this world, he's a billionaire, he's got money, he's got resources, he's a rapper in the hip-hop community, he's got businesses now, he's got sneakers, so he's pretty much having his own brand. So, but now all of a sudden, the Most High, and you always got to give it to the Most High, the Most High put His Spirit on Kanye West. And again, the Most High can put His Spirit on anybody He wants.
That's right.
To bring out the truth. Now, for you brothers and sisters, we've been teaching since the 60s.
Right.
Even before that, the 50s, the 40s, all the way back when Rabbi Matthews, okay, had the commandment keepers, was teaching that we were Israelites. Okay, even before that, you had Prophet F.S. Cherry. Okay, you had Josiah Ford teaching that we were Israelites. And you go all the way back into slavery. You had Nat Turner teaching, Gabriel Prosser teaching we were Israelites. So, but our people today, it's like it just goes in one ear and out the other. So what the Most High have to do, now we've been teaching since definitely, you had Marsha and Arya, since, and Rabbi Bivens teaching since the 60s, of course the early 70s, all the way up to the 80s and 90s and the 2000s, and here we are in 2022, still teaching the word of the Most High to the Hebrew Israelites. So what's it going to take for our people to wake up? So now the Most High put His Spirit on one of your rappers, because it's like you make these rappers and these hip hop stars idols. Okay, you make them idols. So that's who you look up to. You make these black Hollywood actors idols. So that's who you look up to. So the Most High said, okay, I'm gonna have one of your idols, Kanye West, okay, in particular, to bring out that you're the Hebrew Israelites. Now what are you gonna do? He's a billionaire. He's one of your rap idols. He's telling you you're an Israelite, telling you the real Jews. Now what are you going to do? You going to listen to him? See? You're not listening to the brothers when they come out every week on the corners throughout America, the street corners throughout America, teaching you the Hebrew Israelites out of the Bible. So you're not listening to that. So the Most High has one of His top rappers, okay, one of the top rappers in Esau's world, black rappers, Kanye West, bring out that you are Shemetic. You are the real Jews. You're the real Hebrews. And get that again in Joel 2:28. We read that last week, but let's read one more time. The Most High can put that on any man and anybody He wants. He said, in the last days, the young man shall prophesy. Woman shall dream dreams. Okay, and bring out this word. So why can't the Most High use a celebrity rapper? He can do that too.
Absolutely.
He can do that too. He can have a woman. Okay, she's not supposed to go out there and teach on the street, but she can bring out scripture. She can bring out the truth. Okay, she can bring it out, and especially if the Most High gives her a vision or gives her a dream.
Right.
Okay, she's gonna tell her husband. She's single. She's gonna tell one of the heads of the camps, the leaders of the schools, Israelite schools, what the Most High showed her. So the Most High can do. And choose who He want to choose to bring out this word. So now the Most High chose Kanye West to bring it out. And so now, are you going to begin to listen now? You have Edomites that are now bringing it out. You have Edomites who are now upset and mad at this government for lying, for all the lies it taught us for all these centuries since we've been here in America in slavery. And so you have Edomites now who are searching out the Bible, reading the scriptures and finding out that we are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? So now read that. Tell me that up.
The book of John, chapter 2, verse 28.
Bring it out.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
See, all flesh. The Spirit is poured out upon all flesh. So if the Most High want to use a celebrity rapper, can he do that?
Come.
The Most High can do that, okay? And so what? Yeah, he sold out. And he even told you he sold out. But that doesn't mean the Most High can still use him to bring the truth out. Come. The Most High can still use him. So we got to recognize that, okay? Now, a lot of people don't want to recognize it because they're passing over everything he's saying about we being the real Jews.
Right.
So they call him anti-Semite, but nobody's addressing the fact that he's saying that we're the real Jews.
Right.
How come nobody's addressing that?
Right.
They're calling him an anti-Semite. They're saying he got mental health issues. They're saying he's crazy. Okay? But the Most High said that he's gonna bring out, babes are going to bring out this truth. Fools, he said, you're going to be cast out as a fool for bringing out this truth. Okay? And that's what they call him, a fool. But we know the brothers who are in the Spirit and are bringing out this truth and been bringing out the truth for years out of the Bible. We know he's not a fool. Okay? The Most High got a certain spirit on him to do it, to bring it out. Okay? And our people are not listening. Okay, going out.
And it shall come to pass that afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit.
See, so the Most High said he's pouring out his spirit upon all flesh. The men, and then he said the women too.
Right.
Okay? The women too. Young men shall dream dreams. The Most High will give them visions. See? But you not only have Kanye West, you got Kendrick Lamar, right?
Yep.
What's the other name? Kodak Black.
Gun.
Okay? You got a lot of them know the truth, man.
Nick Cannon.
Fat Joe.
Okay?
G-Rap.
Yeah, all of them, right? So they all know, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these black comedians, black actors, they know what Hebrew Israelites. But why is the spirit on Kanye West to push it a little bit further, to really come out and to sacrifice his millions of dollars that he has in J.P. Morgan? They cut him off. His millions of dollars he had in contract with Gap, they cut him off. His millions of dollars he had with Adidas, they cut him off. Why is he willing to sacrifice that? Why is he willing to sacrifice himself? He said he don't care if they kill him. He don't care if they come after his life. They took his children away from him. That's what he's saying. He's willing to sacrifice all that for the truth. Okay? So now, the Spirit of the Most High, I'm going to tell you something. Because he's doing that, the Most High would probably save his life. How about that?
Right.
Because normally, the elite would have a hit out on him by now. They would have a hit out on him. But the Most High may say, wait a minute. Let's preserve his life for a little while longer. Simply because he's sacrificing all that. Just a little while longer. And I do believe he has some kind of agenda. Okay? And he has enough money to start his own businesses. He has enough money. He's a billionaire, so he has enough money to do all that. And so I see the Most High can preserve him because he's bringing out the truth. The crazy way that he brings out the truth, but he's bringing it out. And so what's wrong with the rest of our people? Why can't the one that you don't know it bring it out also? Okay, but in the spirit of truth. Go ahead, Al. Was that it? That was it. So the Most High going to put the spirit on young men, old men, men and women to dream, and to prophesy and to bring out the truth. And that's what's happening in his last day. And Esau can't stop it. See, Kanye West, because he has reached a height and a limit in Esau's world with the elite, he wasn't supposed to do that. He wasn't supposed to bring out the truth. Because Esau, he wasn't supposed to bring out the truth. But the Most High said, Esau, I'm gonna have one of the ones that you said sold out and then got millions and billions of dollars in this society. He's supposed to be quiet, but the Most High said no. So I'm going to show you, and you had your queen is dead. So that's a marker too. We in the end of this deal. So you brothers and sisters, it's high time for us to wake up. You in the end now. A top celebrity, a billionaire is bringing out the truth now.
The richest black man in America.
Richest black man in America, that's about. You may have one or two other black billionaires, they ain't doing nothing, they ain't saying nothing. See, how come Jay-Z ain't backing him up? He's a billionaire too.
Right.
How come Michael Jordan ain't backing him up? He's a billionaire too.
Right.
How come Oprah Winfrey ain't backing him up? She's a billionaire too. What's his name? Johnson, the one who used to own BT, he's a billionaire too. How come he ain't backing him up? So you got some black billionaire, all you gotta do is back him up. What can Esau do if all of us come out and say we're the Hebrew Israelites, especially you billionaires? What can they do? They can't kill everybody. See? But because of fear. See, that's why Kanye, he ain't understands perfect love casts out fear. He's not afraid. And when you're not afraid and you bring out the truth, the Most High will preserve your life.
Well, Bob Johnson, he don't own BET no more.
No more, but he's a billionaire, right? So he don't own it no more. But still, he's a billionaire. So how come they don't back him up? Russell Simmons, it seems like he's backing him up. He said he's backing him up. But still, you know, you need more to come out. And see, and then of course, we've been teaching for years out on the streets that we're the Hebrew Israelites. So what's the Most High doing? You brothers and sisters, that you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're not sure. Now the Most High has brought it out from one of your top celebrities that you're a Hebrew Israelite. Now what are you going to do? You have no excuse now. See, there's no excuse.
Right.
The time of Jacob's trouble is at hand. You have no excuse. Okay? So the Most High showing us that. Now get this in 1 Maccabees 2. We start from the first verse, but you're going to read down to 10. But see, I'm going to show you, so we're going to show you what it is, because they're trying to say he's an anti-Semite. and Esau is the devil the Bible speaks of. How is he? We're the Semites. We're the true Semites. And Kanye West understands that. We're the true Shemetic people. Okay? Now you may say, okay, Esau, okay, he came out of Isaac. Okay, so he's in a sense, he's Shemetic too, but he's the negative. Okay? He's the negative of the Shemetic peoples.
Right.
He's the negative.
Right.
He's the wicked of the Shemetic people. He's the negative. Okay, come? So, so he can't label you an anti-Shemite. Because we are Shemitic too.
That's right.
And this is what Kanye West was trying to tell them. But here they are. You got the Jewish Defense League. Anytime you say anything against the so-called Jewish people, here they come.
Right.
See, Nick Cannon said it. Nick Cannon knows. Nick Cannon said it too. But when the Jewish Defense League got on him, he recanted, didn't he? See, out of fear. You can't do it out of fear. And then afraid maybe they're going to take all his money and all that. No, you got to sacrifice that. See, Kanye West was willing to sacrifice it. See, Nick Cannon recanted with that fake turban he on his head. Man, take off that turban, Nick Cannon. If you listen, take off that turban. Okay, that's not a real turban. Okay? But you would know that if you really come in to the understanding of your Hebrew Israelite, you can't just throw a woman's turban on top of your head. Because you know you're Israelite. First of all, the top got to be open. Okay? So, but the thing is, even if they attack you, the Jewish Defense League, the so-called Jews, the elite, if they attack you, so what? The Most High is with you. You are a Hebrew Israelite. That's it. So you got to understand this. And the Most High will be with you. And I believe if Kanye West is listening, the Most High is with you. Keep on teaching the truth. Keep on teaching the truth among the billionaire circles. So what if Forbes magazine said you're not paying that? Okay, who cares? Who's Forbes magazine? Okay, that's for their world. Okay, but for us who are the Hebrew Israelites, our people who are the Hebrew Israelites, okay, Kanye West, the Most High is what you keep on teaching the truth. So we're going to show how we are the real Shemites. Okay. Now there are Shemitic families Because Kanye West, they said Kanye West is an anti-Shemite. Okay? But he's not anti-Shemitic because he's Shemitic. He's a Hebrew.
Right.
Okay? We're going to show you the families that come out of the Shemites, or the Shemitic families. And we're going to show you how many Hebrew families there are.
Right.
Okay? Okay? Because there are certain Hebrew families and there are certain Shemitic families that come out of Shem. Okay? That are Hebrews. Okay? But let's read that first up. Tell them where you're at. If you got the Apocrypha. First Maccabees, second chapter. First Maccabees, second chapter, and the first verse. Go ahead, Al.
The book of First Maccabees, second chapter, first verse. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jarib, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Cades, Simon called Thasi, Judas, who was called Maccabees, Eleazar called Avaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphos.
Okay, so this is during the time around 1st century BC, 1st, 2nd century BC, primarily around 150, 160, 170 BC, around that time, right? This is the Hasmonean dynasty, okay? And they're Levites, and Mattathias is the father, and then he had 5 sons. And one of the most notable of the sons was Judas Maccabeus. Okay? Very great Israelite, man, when you read the history of Judas Maccabeus. Okay, won the wars over the Greeks, okay, to restore the temple. Especially over Antiochus Epiphanes, who was that Edomite, that devil. Okay? So when they came and desecrated the temple, it was Judas Maccabees and some of his brothers that were got the army back together of Israel and conquered the Greeks. And he was so great a military man, the Most High put the spirit on him. They call him a hammer. These are brothers now. These are our brothers, right? They call him the hammer. That's how great he was. And his name was feared amongst the Greeks, man. Amongst the nation. When they said Judas is leading the military, leading the army, they feared him. You know why? Read the history, man. The angels, they loved, the Most High loved the way this man fight. This is a brother that loved the way this man fight. The angels, they would ask the Most High, can I go down there and fight with Judas Maccabees? And Judas Maccabees was leading the angels. He had angels with him in the military, huh? They would come down to the heavens just to fight with him. That's how great of a leader he was. Come. When you get the angels that want to fight you and back you up, and you leading the angels now. Right? That's how great he was. Then you got to read the history about the angels coming down and fighting in the military with Judas Maccabee. That's us, Okay? His name was feared. And he kicked the Greeks, the Edomites, out of the temple. Remember, when they were in the temple, when they desecrated the temple, they had us eating pork. They forced us not to get circumcised. They forced us to bow down to the idols. Okay? And you had these old wicked Israelites who were willing to do that. Meaning our people, just like you willing to celebrate Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Easter and all those holidays today, and go to church and all that, and all these idols. All right, today, you were doing the same thing back then.
It was coming.
Yeah. There were a bunch of Uncle Toms back then, too. Because they went to the heathen. They went to the Greeks and said, look, can we worship your idols? Can we eat the pork? You were asking the enemy, can we do these things? Understand? So it was wicked. And so Mattathias, you had one simple nigga who will come up and offer a sacrifice to an idol. Mattathias killed that nigga right there on the altar. Killed him right there on the altar. And so what he did was, once he realized what he did, and there was a spirit that had to do it, he had to flee to the mountains. He took his sons with him and fled to the mountains, and a certain number of men went with him into the mountains, into the caves. And they stayed there until they grew the military. Certain other Israelites came up with them. They grew the military. started training and everything, and then they made this, they recommended that they never on the Sabbath day, okay, never fight, because they weren't fighting on the Sabbath day, but when it was time for them to fight, and the enemy came on the Sabbath, they made this decree that they would never allow themselves to be taken over on the Sabbath like that. Come?
Right. Come.
They made that decree amongst themselves because on the Sabbath is a day of rest. Right? Come? It's like today's a Sabbath, day of rest. Now, if the enemy comes storming in here, what are we going to do? Sit down and say it's a rest, we can't fight and protect ourselves? You know, you're not going to do that, are you?
No.
You're going to get up and fight.
Right.
This is what Maccabees, Mattathias and Judas Maccabees were saying. We gotta fight. The enemy come on the Sabbath, we gotta fight. See, that's why Yahweh Shai came back and said, well, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. If you gotta do your due diligence and protect your family and your nation on the Sabbath, then you have to do it. Come. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying break the Sabbath. He was saying if it's a time of emergency, then you gotta do what you gotta do. Because, see, the nations knew the laws. They knew that on the Sabbath we were at rest. They knew that we were vulnerable on the Sabbath. And they would come in there, that's when they would make war. Antiochus and them knew that. Come? So they knew that if we sinned against the Most High, it would make us weak. So they would come on the Sabbath and force us to fight on the Sabbath. When Judas Maccabees and them went spiritual, they said, wait a minute. Okay, the Most High is with us to protect us, even on the Sabbath day. Come. That's what they were saying. Go ahead, Al.
Verse 7, Salakia. Verse 6, and when he said the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people, and on the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers.
As it is today. It's still that way today, come. Isn't Israel in the hand of strangers?
Yep.
The hand of the enemy? They got it, brother. And where are we? Dispersed all over the earth. We don't even have a land. We don't have a military. We don't have nothing. We don't have a nation to speak of. We don't have nothing. We're the only nation like this. Only nation on earth like this. No other nation like this. Come. Even if other nations come to America, at least they can go back to where they come from, right? Where are we going back? We don't know. We don't even know where Israelites, most of our people, right?
Right.
So where are we going back to? Understand? Only nation like this. So it's in the hand of it. So even Mattathias at that time, he was saying the same thing we're saying now. We're like Mattathias now. It's in the hand of our enemies. Yeah.
I got a precept for that.
Go ahead.
Luke chapter 21. Verse 24,
Okay.
it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So they still are in Jerusalem because the time of the Gentiles
is trodden down. Yeah.
70 AD.
Look, we've been to Israel.
Yep.
I've been about 4 times. Other brothers been there. From the house of David, other brothers have been there. One brother just was recently there for the Feast of Tabernacles, Methophila. So what I'm saying is that when you go to Israel, you see it is trodden down, right? Especially Zion, especially the tabernacle of Zion. The tabernacle of David is trodden down, right? Jerusalem is trodden down. Okay, come. It's nothing now. It doesn't even feel. It doesn't even grow its fullness. Okay? The trees, not that many trees. They got to import trees in Israel because the trees don't grow like, of course, when we were there in ancient times, it doesn't grow there because the enemy's there. Okay? They got to import water.
They have the biggest gate.
It doesn't rain that much there. Yeah. Understand?
Yeah.
And then where Mount Zion's at, the real Mount Zion in Tel Arad, you look all around them, but desert. When back in ancient time, that was the city of David. Full of fruit trees, grass, everything. Understand? Flower, everything. Right? There's nothing but desert. Okay? But the scriptures say it's going to be like that until we get back there. Okay? So don't let them fool you. Tell them where they got the fake Jerusalem at. And then the Wailing Wall, all that. That's not the real tabernacle of David. That's not the real Mount Zion. That's yeah, a bunch of apostles. That's nothing but a tourist, $1 billion industry, a tourist attraction.
Con.
Okay, we've been there. Okay, so that's all that is. That's not the real Mount Zion. So again, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So the Gentiles in our land now, and we disperse throughout the earth. Mainly throughout North, South, Central America, and essentially throughout the earth. Okay, go ahead, Al.
Verse 8, her temple has become as a man without glory.
Yeah, that's how it is now. The temple. Okay, Mount Zion. Tabernacle. There's man without glory. Okay? It's all in desecration there. Come? All right, go ahead.
Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets.
Are we still slaying in the streets? Those how scriptures go from the past and it brings it up to date, and it's still the same thing is happening.
Yep.
We're being slain in the streets. The police kill us. We're being killed in the streets by other means. Okay, being an abortion, right? Okay, through drug overdose. It's the same, but we gotta remember, they use any method necessary to kill us. Any kind of method. Poisoning the water. Flint, Michigan was one example, right? But that's all over, and all the ghettos and slums, the water's poison.
COVID shot.
Right? COVID shot, all that. The food is all poison. Okay? These fast food is all poison. All of it. Okay? But you know, Wendy's a little bit better. It's all poison, huh? There ain't one better than another. It's all poison. You're only living because the Most High allow you to live through it. He said you're going to eat dung and you're going to live. And that's an abomination to eat dung and live. You're better off eating dung and dying, huh? You don't want to put that garbage in. Look, there was one time the Most High told the prophet Isaiah, I want you to go eat some doo-doo over there to show the people what they're going to have amongst the nations.
Right.
Dung. And Isaiah said, Most High. He said, Most High, but you know, can you at least make it a little sweeter?
It was Ezekiel.
You know, when Ezekiel, yeah, I'm sorry, not Isaiah, Ezekiel, right, you're right. Comes Ezekiel. He said, Ezekiel said, Most High, can you make it a little sweeter? Can I eat at least human cow dung? He said, can I eat at least cow dung? Because, you know, cows only eat grass.
Yeah.
So if you eat
clean
dung,
animal.
you pretty much, you know.
It's a clean animal.
It's clean.
Right.
Right? I mean, dung is dung to me,
Yeah.
but I mean, eating something from a human, eating something from a cow, is a little bit different.
God.
Right? So the Most High said, okay, eat cow's dung. And so here goes Ezekiel eating cow's dung, right? In front of the congregation, in front of the people, and to prophesy and say, this is what you're going to do amongst the nations. Which one of you prophets can do that now? The Most High came and said, look, you may eat some dung to show the people that's what they're going to do. Okay, so the prophets had to go through that. Okay? So we're still eating dung. They're still killing us in the streets of America today. Hasn't stopped. Okay? And these are prophecies come to pass before our very eyes. Go ahead, Doc.
Verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom?
Right. So what's today's modern day sword?
The gun.
The gun. Still a sword. It means a killing instrument. That's all it means. Modern day sword is a gun. Some cases it may be actual sword. But I'm saying, but still, it's a killing instrument.
Right.
They can use poison as a sword too. Fire, the ICBM missiles, whatever they use. Okay, keep going trick-or-treating. What is it, Sunday?
Oh, no, they're already doing it everywhere.
What's trick-or-treating? Okay, go out trick-or-treating and see how that sword won't come and attack some of our people.
Oh, yeah.
They'll poison the candy up. And it's already poison anyway, right? And all you gotta do is lace it with a little tincture of poison. And the thing about it, you don't die right away. But in a month or 2 months' time, you know, something happened, you have a heart attack. They think it's a heart attack. They don't know that poison candy you ate 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, 4 months ago, right? Same thing with the shot. You took your jab, right? Now all of a sudden, a few months later, a year or two later, people are dropping dead. But they think it's because of something that immediate that happened right then and there. No, if they took a shot a few months, 6 months ago, a year ago, right? Come? You hear about it. Okay, you got to search deep, but there are people dying all over the country, all over the world, just dropping dead. And they don't pick it up that it was because they took the shot months ago or a year ago. Come? All right, so it's a modern day sword. Now read that part again. 9.
Verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy.
Right.
What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
There you go. All nations. So what nation hasn't had a part? So this is like Mattathias is saying it, right? So it's spiritual. Look at it spiritually. All nations had a hand in all spoils.
Right.
All of them. When Esau allowed the Koreans come in, where did the Koreans first go? They don't go to Esau's neighborhood. They call it the ghettos and slums to set up shop right there.
Yep.
When the East Indians come in, they don't go to Esau's neighborhood to set up shop. Where they go? They set up shop in the ghettos and slums first. All right? To spoil us. The Chinese, the ghettos and slums first. If they're little bargain world, wig shops and
nail salon,
and
wigs, yup,
wigs and all
everything.
that.
Yeah.
The fake hair, and we eat up. Our women just go in there and eat it up. Understand?
The Arabs too, they come in there.
The Arabs.
Call you the op. They say you're packing Newports, get a ham sandwich.
It's a ham
They
sandwich.
don't want you to, they sell it to you.
Eat that ham.
Yep, exactly.
So we just named what, 4 or 5 nations right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So what nation hasn't had a part of us? So this is why when you go to Romans, I think it's 11 and 11, and that's all I'm going to read the whole Romans 11, but just to show you that all nations, right? Romans 11:11, and then you can read 12 too. So we're going to show you who's really the anti-Semite. Esau done flipped that thing, didn't he? He flipped it. He's got everybody believing he's the real Jew when he's an imposter.
Right.
He's a fallacy. Okay? He's a wild man. He's contrary to nature, wild by nature, grafted in. Okay, he's not the real Jew. But he got everybody believing that. Okay, going up.
The book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Yeah. Stumble mean we sinned. That they should fall. Okay, but here's what Paul is saying. We did fall, but Paul is saying something else. Go on.
God forbid. But rather though, their false salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy.
Right. So when he said, Most High forbid, God forbid, the Most High forbid that we shall fall forever. We did fall. Come?
Right.
Can't say we didn't fall.
Right.
But we shall not fall forever. We're going to rise back up. See, that's why we say, Kwam Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. We're going to rise back up.
Good.
See, and Esau knows it. So he's trying his best to make it seem like, well, when he says Kanye West is crazy as a mental health, he's really saying it to what? To all of us.
Come on, try to say we all crazy.
He's trying to say, well, all that. That's the message he's giving to his people. They're all that way. See? They don't know what they're talking about. They're all that way. They're all crazy. Take your medication, Kanye. Black man, take your medication. Go to the clinic. Get your meds.
Carl, they attacked, what's his name, Derrick Rose this week too, because he had posted like a clip from the movie Kyrie Irving from
not
Negroes,
Kyrie Irving.
the Negroes,
The Negroes, yeah.
They attacked him for that now, talking about they want to drop him for sponsors and stuff, just because he posted something from Ronald Dalton.
Yeah, he did.
Ron Dalton, yup.
He just posted something on Twitter. He posted it. But just a little comment, and now they're saying he's an anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Hey, the point
And so,
is.
you know, Kyrie Irving is worth $100 million too.
Yup.
So they'll take his money. Next thing you know, he won't be on the team next year. All of a sudden, and then all of a sudden he'll try to get another team. No team will pick him up. Why all of a sudden that happened? It's because of that little comment, right?
And the coach that put it out there, he not even Esau. He an Asian dude.
Right.
He put it out there.
Isn't that something, Mark? So now, but Kyrie Irving knows what Israelites do. He know. They all know. Right? Come. So if the Most High got these celebrities and athletes that are saying it, what's wrong with our people now? How come they don't wake up? Huh? Because Esau can't stop it. It's going to be like a domino effect. He can't stop it if we all wake up and support these brothers that are in the celebrity world that are bringing out the truth. See? And Kanye West knows, what did he say? If you kill me, what's going to happen? He says they're going to come another one just like me. He's going to come out and tell the truth. That means he's willing to sacrifice himself for the truth's sake. So if enough of them come out and say, what can Esau do? He can't kill everybody, right, Colin? So that's why perfect love casts out fear. You can't be fearful, man. Okay, go ahead.
Kind elder. They had an old saying that the blood of the saints is the seed of the prophets.
Of the prophets, right? Good. Right?
Kanye said, "Wait till he get his money right."
Yeah,
exactly.
He don't care.
He don't care. He got something planned, Doc. He's not a fool. He got something planned. He got an agenda. Come. All right. I think Russell Simmons brought it out a little bit. He got an agenda.
Trying to break off from him. He's trying to break off from him.
Yeah, they're break off from him.
Yeah, they trying to keep him on the leash, and he like,
look,
he don't want to deal with
remember Prince was he said, I'm the artist only known because he was trying to get the ownership of his music. And he went through hell battling them.
Yeah.
Right? And, he finally did it. But I mean, and then Prince used to come out and tell you something. Prince knew what Israelites do. He knew it. Okay? He'd tell you about the chemtrails. He knew what they were
I
doing.
remember that too.
Right, remember? But, of course, they got the Prince. They killed him. They killed him. But you can't, even Michael Jackson, he knew the truth. Remember, he was coming out with some of the interviews. And he was trying to come out, and let me tell you about Tommy Mottola. He was at the Action Network. Reverend Al Sharpton's Action Network in New York, and he came out and they marched around the city saying Tommy Mottola's the devil, the Bible. Right? He was saying it, right? This is Michael Jackson now. Right? But you got to come all the way. You can't. See, even Tupac was trying to say kill the Illuminati, but you can't. You got to come all the way, huh? You can't half-step. They were kind of half-stepping.
Right.
So Esau still got to them. But Kanye said, no, I'm coming all the way with that bad boy. And then now Esau's like, whoa, wait a minute now. So now if they kill him, everybody gonna know who did it, right? When all the other ones they killed, right? Michael Jackson, Prince, he was drugs, it was this. Whitney Houston said it was drugs, it wasn't drugs. Whitney Houston knew she was Israelite, huh? She went to Demona. Her and Bobby Brown, remember? They went to Demona, Israel, huh? And they found out and learned the Bible, they were Hebrew Israelites, huh? Gave them a big donation and everything, huh? Remember, Whitney, at that time, the Prime Minister of Israel wanted to shake Whitney Houston's hand, and she didn't shake his hand. Bobby Brown did, but she didn't shake the Prime Minister's hand. And he put it out like that, and Whitney Houston just put her hand back, right? So, these things, because they know they're Israelite, but you got to come out. You got to come out. You can't hide that thing.
Right.
See? So you got to be willing to sacrifice. Money, stardom.
Yeah.
But
White.
Reggie White.
who?
Reggie
White. Yeah. How about that? Reggie White did too. They killed him. He didn't die of sleep apnea. Professional football player for 15 years, however long he was, all of a sudden he's going to die of sleep apnea now that he's retired. Get out of here. It never happened when he was in the NFL. All of a sudden now, no, they killed him. See, so you got to be strong, man, in these last days. You got to be strong. See? Okay, go ahead, Al. 11 again.
Yeah, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yahweh forbid, but rather though their fall, rather through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles.
So there you go. Salvation has come unto the nations. The word Gentile means nations. Salvation has come unto, through our fall, they have their salvation. And look how rich the nations are. Show you what we had, what we lost. So you're going to sell out for $1 million contract when you can have the whole earth? How about that? Think about that. You're going to drink blood and sacrifice your children and all that and do satanic rituals when the whole earth is made for us? For a measly $1 million contract? See, $1 million contract is nothing compared to what the Most High is going to bless us with in the kingdom. Come. Go ahead,
Salakia. But rather through their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy.
Yeah, so now we're jealous, aren't we? The nations, Esau, they have everything, nice houses, cars, boats, yachts, whatever, right? Millions of dollars, billions of dollars. And what do we have as a nation? Nothing. We don't have an army, we don't have a government, we don't have nothing. We're jealous. That's why our people live in ghettos and slums, but are buying Mercedes. They only have a garage to put it in. Because you're jealous of what the nation's got, and you're looking at the carnal things, right? Instead of looking at the spiritual things, the Most High is saying, what you already have. Because the earth is yours. It's already made for you. Not made for Esau. Esau destroyed the earth. That's why the Most High said, I'm going to destroy them that destroyed the earth. It's not made for Esau. It's not made for the nations. The nations worship idol gods. We worship the Most High, the creator of heaven and earth. There's a difference there. All right? So they're in their salvation. And so how can we be in the other nation's salvation? Two nations can't rule at the same time. So if the kingdom was meant for us, that means if they're in their kingdom, if they're in their kingdom, or their salvation, this is their salvation here. Salvation is when rulership. That means where do we have to be? On the bottom.
Right.
If they're on top, we have to be on the bottom because two nations can't rule at the same time. Two nations can't rule be in salvation or the kingdom at the same time. One got to be on the bottom. So the Most High put us on the bottom for now because we're being punished for our sins, right? And so until the times, the brother brought it out in Luke 21:24, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. There's a fulfilling of prophecy that's taking place here.
Right.
Fulfilling of prophecy has to take place. I know we're kind of impatient, right? But the Most High said it has to take place. The fulfillment of prophecy, all prophecy, has to take place. See, we're in the flesh, so we feel the effects of oppression. The Bible says oppression make a wise man mad. He's angry. And everything Esau do to us, he's angry. The Most High said, be temperate. Because he put us in this for a reason. To learn. To gain maturity, to gain wisdom and knowledge. If you just completely go off, then that means you lost patience, right?
Right.
The Most High is teaching us. In our captivity, he teaches us also wisdom and knowledge. Remember, we're all going to rule. And we're going to rule the whole earth. And we got to do it correctly. Can't do it with a hot mind and ready to go off at a moment's notice. You can't control your emotions and your spirit. Most of the time, nobody rule the earth like that. Understand what I'm saying? So, the Most High is teaching us something. I put this under the nations. He's teaching us. Because we didn't do it right the first time. Okay, come? Okay, then read the 12th verse.
Verse 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
Listen to that. The fall of us was what? The riches.
Riches of the world.
So, how much is America worth? Trillions, right? How much is Europe worth? Trillions. Africa. Asia. It was the fall of just us. This is one nation, Israel. Yashala was the riches of the whole earth. And we're going to sell out for a little measly $25 million contract or whatever they get, you know what I'm saying? Even Kanye West's billions ain't nothing compared to what we're going to get from him. There's nothing.
Not billions. 3 scores of entertainment.
Yeah, right. There's nothing. Understand? So go ahead, Doc.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
How much more full can they get? So they're going to reach their fulfillment in prophecy. That's why the scripture says the wicked man has come to his, the dishonorable has come to his fulfillment. And he's going to have to fall now after that. He's going to have to fall. The Most High got 2 vessels, one honor
Into this
and one to dishonor. Okay? And the dishonorable one is come to his fulfillment now. He's got to fall. How much more their fulfillment? Okay, he has to fall up. Okay? He reached the height of his society. That's it. This is it for him. You got Kanye West and these celebrities saying that we're the real Jews. That's it, brother. The Queen Elizabeth is dead. The Queen is dead. And that's spiritual. What? The Queen of Heaven. The Queen dying represented something more spiritual. When you read the scripture about the Queen of Heaven, right? And Esau is that queen.
about to come set in the dust.
Right, to sit in the dust. Come?
Come.
So that's what that's talking about. And that was it on that out?
Come.
So, when you talk about anti-Shemetic, right, that's what they say Kanye is anti-Shemetic. Isn't that something? It's some nerve. Because you don't believe, you don't understand that you are the actual Shemites. And it's not Semitic, it's Shem.
That's right.
Shemitic. They come. You're from the seed of Shem. Okay? You're from the seed of Shem. Anti-Shemetic means what? It's characterized by anti-Semitism, which is a word they created. Just like racism they created, communism they created, all these isms, Americanism, nationalism. Esau creates all these different isms.
Schisms.
The schism, yeah, it's confusion.
Schisms.
That's why they're known as Babylon the Great. Great confusion. Babel means confusion.
Con.
See, all those words are the elitist words that they come out with to confuse the population of the people. Oh, you're a racist. You hate. There's nothing wrong with hate. The Most High hates. The Heavenly Father hates. And racism is only what? A man that stands for his own people. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Yeah, the white man does it. The Koreans do it. The Chinese do it. The Arabs do it. Everybody can't say own people.
Absolutely.
Until we do it,
Yeah, until we do
then
it.
it's a problem.
Until we do it now, then you're a racist. Then they throw it back on you. Right?
Right.
How about that?
Oh, American body.
So, anti-Shemetic, characterized by anti-Semitism, feeling or showing hostility toward or discriminating against Jews, so-called Jews, right, as a culture, racial, or ethnic group. Isn't that something? That's what the term means, right? The term anti-Semitism was coined in 1879 by the German agitator Wilhelm Marr. You can look that up. To designate the anti-Jewish campaigns underway in Central Europe at that time. So 1879, this devil coined it, term anti-Semitism. Okay? So that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. But we know when you read the scriptures, okay, the real Shemitic people is us.
That's right.
Okay? So that's why when you go to Genesis 10:21,
Read it out.
you would read about Shem. Genesis 10:21. Now, Genesis 10th chapter gives you what they call the table of nations. You'll understand when you read Genesis 10, where all the nations come from and their genealogies and everything. When you read the Genesis 10th chapter, come.
Come.
Right. You got a map there?
Oh, praise.
Oh, praise, huh? Yeah. Okay, we got to show some of this. Okay. Yeah, here it is. The nations of Genesis 10. Okay.
Come. Beautiful.
And you got a lot of them here. Okay. But that's where we're going. Genesis 10th chapter, the 21st verse. Okay, here it is. The nations of Genesis 10 right there. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna hold it back up in a minute. Read that. We'll hold it back up in a minute.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born.
Yeah, see, so unto Shem also, the father of the children of Eber. Now, Eber is really the grandson of Shem. But why is it saying the father of Eber? Because it's going to show you that Eber, that's where the word Hebrew comes from. Come? Eber was the one that kept, when the nations were divided, remember the Most High divided these nations in Genesis 10, divided them all up because of the Tower of Babel was being built. And when the Tower of Babel was being built, and this is through Nimrod. Because when you read Genesis 10 and 8, it tells you about Ham and how Cush came out of Ham, and Nimrod began to be a mighty hunter. Okay? And so Nimrod, okay, and through the spirit of Nimrod, remember there was only one language. And it was the Hebrew. There was only one language, and it was Hebrew. Come? That Paleo-Hebrew is the language that the Most High brought into the earth. But when Nimrod convinced the people during that time to build the Tower of Babel because of the flood, remember the Most High killed everybody on the flood and only saved 8 people, Noah and his children and their wives. Come? So here comes Nimrod with the spirit of the devil, and the word Nimrod means the rebel. He rebelled against the Most High. He's pretty much like one of the original antichrists in the earth. He's one of the original ones. Come? He totally went against the Most High. He said, I'm going to build a Tower of Babel so high, the flood, if you do kill the earth by a flood again, and kill everybody in the earth with a flood again, it's not going to happen because the tower is going to be way high up in the head. Okay? And that's why Esau got his one world tower. He come with that same spirit of Nimrod. Remember, this is Babylon the Great. That's why they want what they call globalism. Globalism is what? The whole earth under what? One language.
Right.
One world religion. Are they trying to push that now? Popes of Rome are trying to push the one world religion. And they're trying to push one, they want to get everybody chipped. They already got millions of people chipped with the graphene oxide, with the nanotechnology when you took the shot. So a lot of people are chipped that way. And then they're going to come with the rest of the chip when they actually put it in you, the little grain of rice thing.
Right.
Okay? That's a radio frequency transmitter. Okay? RFID chip, whatever. They come with that too. Because they know there's millions of people that didn't get the shot. Right? So they're going to come with that. For the rest of the people, they're going to try to get. Come? All right? So they're trying to globalize now this whole thing. That's why they come to one world currency. The Bitcoin currency, digital currency. They come with that. So after a while, what you got in your bank account, not going to mean nothing. They're taking that. Right? So that's why the Most High said your money is going to be worthless in these last days. They're taking that. Okay? Whatever you got in your bank, they're taking all of that. And everything's going to be digitized. Right? Because they know the dollar system is falling. It's worthless. Okay? They know that. This is why. This is what Hussein was talking about. This is what Gaddafi was talking about. The dollar system is worthless. Putin in Russia is talking about it. He already doing the same thing in Russia. You can't buy nothing with rubles or money. You got to buy it with, well, some things you buy in rubles, but he's saying the oil and stuff, the natural gas, you got to do it with gold. This is what Putin is saying. The Rothschilds and the elite are mad at him. This is why he attacked Ukraine. He attacked Ukraine because he knows NATO and America are trying to get over there in Ukraine to try to put nuclear bombs in Ukraine.
Not only that, Ukraine is like the center of the Khazarian Empire too as well.
Right. So you got to think about that. Putin is not dumb. He know the truth. And also, they know we're the real Jews.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Putin made a little comments to that too.
I don't know.
Remember Ahmadinejad of Iran? Remember President Ahmadinejad? He was president of Iran. He came out many times, said that the blacks are the real Jews. Right? They know it. Everybody knows it. We don't know it. That's the problem. Understand? So they're coming with all that. So now, here it is. Unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber. Eber is the grandson of Shem and the one that kept the Hebrew when the Most High divided the nations, the language of all the nations. Let's go take it. Go ahead.
Unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japhet, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hol, and Gether, and Mosh. And Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begat Eber.
And Salah begot Eber. Okay? So this is, right, unto Shem, right? And Shem had, all right, Shem had, the children of Shem had Arphaxad, and Arphaxad had Salah, so that would be Shem's great-grandson, come? That would be, Eber would be his great-grandson, come? All right? And then Salah had Eber. Okay, go ahead, I'll read the 25th verse.
And unto Eber were born two sons.
Eber were born two sons, go on.
The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
Okay, so that's it. So in his days, okay, Peleg, in his days was the earth divided.
Divided, right.
Okay? In other words, the Most High came down and divided, okay, all the nations up because of the building of the Tower of Babel by Nimrod. And got all the nations, got everybody as one to build a Tower of Babel. Come? So the angels were complaining. The angels said, look, Most High, they're building this tower so high, there's nothing that's going to be able to stop them. So the Most High said, go down there and divide them up. So who said the Most High ain't about division? Who said the Most High is about all equality and all that? The Most High divided the nations up. And how did he do it? By putting different languages. Okay, different languages amongst the people. That'll divide you up quick, won't it? Because if I don't know what the hell are you talking about, I'm going to be suspicious, ain't I? What's he saying? Do you understand when them gooks and you go and try to disrupt what they're saying? You don't understand what they're saying. They be cursing you out.
Right.
You don't know what they're saying.
Right.
Right? You understand them Arab they saying? They speak that Arabic? And you come in there, that's what, ham sandwich? What the hell they saying? That divides the nations quick, doesn't it? Okay, so that's what the Most High did. Divide the nations up. But now Eber did what? Eber kept the language. Okay? He kept the language. All right? So by Eber, keeping language, the word Eber means from the past. Or the past over. From the past. Come? That's what the word Hebrew comes from, the word Eber. In Hebrew, it's Ibar. Eber, you can see they just put an E there, but it's Ibar. Come? It's Ibar. Now, okay, and you ready to the 32nd?
No.
Okay, Yeah. Can read to the 32nd.
Verse 26, and Joktan begot Almadad, and Shalef, and Hazamavet, and Jerah, and Hadaram, and Uziel, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab, and all these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as though thou goest unto Sepher, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in the lands after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations and their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
And what were they? They were divided after
the flood.
Division. Moses divided the nations. He gave the nations their land. He gave them their boundaries. That's why you read Deuteronomy, if you get Deuteronomy 32. Was it 32 and 32? The Most High divided the nations their land.
No, that's 8.
Oh, 32 and 8. Yeah, go ahead, read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8.
Bring it up.
When the Most High divided the nations.
He did what?
Divided the
The
nations.
Most High divides, he did what?
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
He's a division.
Divided. Yep.
The Most High is the biggest races of them all. Understand? Okay, divide the nations their inheritance. Remember, he gave the Chinese their land, he gave the Japanese their land, he gave the Arabs their land, he gave the Africans their land, he gave everybody their land and their boundaries. Divided them up. Okay, go ahead,
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons
The
of
Most High
Adam.
did what?
Separated the
The
sons
Most
of
High is a
Adam.
separatist. The Most High is a separatist, man. The Most High is a racist. Come?
Come.
He separated the nations. So how are now your church going to teach us come together in a rainbow coalition? That Negro Jesse Jackson teaches that man. Okay? The Most High not for that.
Nope.
But he called himself the Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's supposed to know the Bible. Go ahead, huh?
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
How about that? So we were the last nation to get our land. Come? The land of Canaan, Israel. We were the last nation to get our land. But he only set their land and their boundaries according to our number. How about that? I could show you the earth was made for our sakes. How important we are.
Right.
The Most High don't do nothing until he preserves his chosen people first. Now, he may give the nations their land and everything before us, but he did it because of what? He measured his chosen people first. He said, these are my people, this is the land I'm going to give them. Okay, I'm going to give them their lands, but I got to make sure I have my land for my people first. Come? Even though we were the last nation to get into our land, but our land was set first before anybody's. That's what the Most High does, huh? So how are we going to teach all of a sudden that everybody? The Most High don't like this melting pot. Everybody together. That's madness. This is not a melting pot. This is an abomination, huh? Okay? Everybody coming over here all together, mixed together. No, this is an abomination. But the scripture says that they're going to mingle themselves with the seed of man, causing confusion. This is what Esau has done. Was that it up?
For the Lord's portion is his people.
Is what?
Is his people.
Go on.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Amen.
His is a possessive pronoun.
Come.
See, his is meaning what's yours. See, your shoe. The man said, that's my shoe, that's my clothes, that's my coat. His coat, his shoes. Most I said, well, these are my people.
Come.
So someone might ask you, what about the other people? Well, they're not the Most High's people. The Most High cast them out. He said they're nothing.
What about them, right?
Yeah, what about them?
They got their own gods. They
Yeah,
go
exactly.
celebrate sin,
Yeah.
days,
They're worshiping the devil. Hell,
Come.
you got it. You got it, God.
Hell, they even want y'all to celebrate Guy Wally now. You know what I mean? They bringing that.
That was
Right.
It's some. What they did is they made a national holiday for the Hindus in America.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
called Diwali.
Diwali,
And it's
yeah.
to another god. It's called the Festival of Lights, but it's to another god, which they have all these different
Right.
gods anyway. But it's a Hindu god, but they made it a national holiday. So now at your school and at your jobs and stuff, they celebrate Diwali.
Right.
And they put it on your children to celebrate Diwali, which is the celebration of another god. So you may not know it, but they just did that this past week in school. Yeah, they were celebrating Diwali.
You know, but
Take out of school though.
you're instituting your stuff, man, and because they got you all distracted with sports, you know, going out to clubs and Cardi B and the rap world and I understand they got you all distracted, so you don't know these things, they're doing these things.
I
Okay?
found out this week because they bought it vegan food, but I didn't know what they bought it in for. And I was like, okay, I eat vegan. So I tried some food. I was like, what is this? Why you bringing vegan food in? Then I seen out on the whiteboard at work, Diwali. I was like, oh man, they tricked us. You know what I mean? They gave me some food sacrificed to some idols.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? They tricked you like that.
Yep.
Crafty counsel.
Yeah, crafty counsel.
Council.
So, and then you can go back to Genesis now. So in the Bible dictionary, the Compact Bible Dictionary, it says Shem, right? It says Shem, the progenitor, meaning like the father, come?
Right.
Progenitor means like father. Progenitor of the Semitic race, okay? Was born 98 years before the flood and lived 600 years, outliving his descendants for 9 generations, excepting Eva and Abraham. So, progenitor of the Shemitic race. It says Shem. And so, that's in the Bible dictionary. Now, when you go to 1 Chronicles, Yachanan, 17th chapter. 1 Chronicles, 17th chapter.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 17, chapter 17, verse 1. Now,
Hold on, Tazapaya, I want you to keep Genesis 10, 21
Khan.
and 22. Just keep that, but y'all can read that.
the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 17, verse 1. Now it came to pass that David sat in the house, that David said to Nathan the prophet, Lo, I dwell in the house of cedars, but the ark of the covenant of Yahweh remaineth under curtains. Then Nathan said unto David, Do all that is in thine heart, for Yahweh is with thee. And it came to pass the same night that the word of Yahweh came to Nathan, saying, Go and tell David, my servant, thus saith Yahweh, Thou shalt not build me an house to dwell in, for I have not dwelt.
Hold on up. Did you get the first chapter?
First chapter.
First Chronicles, first
chapter
chapter.
1.
Yeah.
Salakia.
Don't worry about it. First Chronicles, first chapter, 17th verse.
I got you.
Come?
Come.
And you hold on to that, Tazapaya.
Khan.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 17. The sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashar, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Meshach.
Okay, so hold up. Now, when you go back to Tazapaya,
Khan.
read 21st verse again.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam.
Elam, so we just read that, right? In Chronicles,
Con.
17.
Yep.
So Elam.
And
Who's Elam today?
East Indians.
East Indians.
Punjabs.
And you met with some Persians in there.
Con.
East Indians, Persians. That's
What
what
else?
today.
One of them stands.
Yeah.
Pakistan.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
you can look
Elam.
it up. Okay, look it up.
The Elamite. That's
is
the Elamites.
East Indians of today. Come.
Khan.
Okay, so are the East Indians in the Bible? Yes.
Yeah.
But that's not going to say East Indians.
Right.
Okay? It's going to say Elam. Come.
Come.
Okay,
Come.
go ahead, and then it said, go
And-
ahead, next one.
And Asher.
Asher is who today?
Assyria.
The Assyrians of today. Come.
Come.
And we're talking about not the Edomite Assyrian you see over there. We're talking about the dark-skinned Assyrians. Come.
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 These are all dark-skinned people. Come.
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 All right. They're not Israelites, but they're all dark-skinned people. Come.
Come.
Okay. That's who the Asher is. The Assyrians of today. But the dark-skinned, the ones over there, the Edomites. Okay. Those are Edomite babies over there. Huh?
Come.
All right. Go ahead.
And Arphaxad.
Okay. Arphaxad, one of the sons of Shem. Arphaxad didn't become a nation. Come. All right. So when you read the sons of some of the progenitors of our forefathers, some of them became nations, but some of the sons didn't become nations. Come. All right.
Come.
All right. And go ahead,
And Lud and Aram.
Okay, Aram is who today? The Syrians. Okay, not Assyria, the Syrians, plain Syrians. Okay, they're dark-skinned people too. Come.
Come.
And
Come.
that's you can look it up. You got to do your research, but they're the Syrians. Okay, of today, but the dark-skinned Syrians. Come.
Come.
All right, not the Edomite babies over there. Okay, come. Now, and then it said, and then it tells you in the 23rd verse, right, Telepiah? And the
Come.
children of Aram, Uz and Hul and
Gether.
Gether and Mash. Now those are the children of Aram. Now when you read First Chronicles, it tells you that. Now read 17 again. First Chronicles 1:17.
The sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Meshach.
Right. So it's giving you that he had more sons, but he didn't have more sons. That's just, that could be in the translation. So that's why when you go into Genesis 10, it gives you the direct sons that Shem had. Okay?
Right.
So now, the 5 sons are the Shemetic. Are the Shemetic peoples. Come.
Come.
Elam.
Asher.
Elam's right, East Indians are Shemetic.
Right.
Come. They're Shemetic people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Persian, East Indians and the Persians, they're Shemetic. Asher, the Syrians, they're Shemetic people. Come.
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 All right. And then you got, of course, Arphaxad, Lud. You got Aram, who are the Syrians, are Shemetic people. Come.
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 All right. Now, other families, of course, come out of Shem. Ishmael comes out of Shem. Come.
Come.
Why? Because Ishmael came out of Abraham. Okay. Come.
Come.
Ishmael's, the Arabs are Shemitic. Okay. Of course, Israel, of course, we're Shemitic. The Hebrew, we're Shemitic, of course.
Right.
We're the main Shemitic ones, right?
Direct bloodline.
Direct bloodline. Okay. And Esau is Shemitic. Huh? He's the devil. The Bible speaks of, but he's Shemitic. But he can't claim that we're anti-Shemitic. See?
Right.
That's like you said, that's crafty counsel of the elite against our people. That reverse psychology to make everybody think that we're not Shemitic. And we're a bunch of niggas on the corner of the street, don't know who we are.
Right.
So he said, you're anti-Shemitic. And Kanye is trying to tell them, no, we're Shemitic too. So how can I be anti-Shemitic when I am Shemitic? That's what he's trying to tell them. We are the real Jews. That's what he's trying to tell them. You heard him say, he said, we're Judites. See? We're the sons of Judah. This is what Kanye was saying. All people just bypass that, don't even listen to what he's saying. It's unbelievable.
Kind of in the bulk of it through Covenant, he was even saying what anti-Shemitic was.
Right.
Like pushing the music, teach
Right.
us to kill each other, turn on women in the whole.
That is anti-Semitic, right?
That's anti-Semitic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That goes
anti-Shemitic.
Right.
All that.
Because that's not what the Shemite supposed to be doing.
Right,
Right.
it goes
It's
against our
abomination.
culture, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Sell drugs to people to get rich.
And it's
That's all
anti-Semitic.
anti-Shemitic.
Yep.
Okay. So 5 Shemitic nations, right? Israel, Arabs, East Indians, Assyrians, Syrians, and of course Edom, Esau. He's Shemitic because he came out of Isaac. Huh?
Come.
He's Shemitic. All right. Now, as far as Hebrew families, there's only 3. See, these are Shemitic families, but they're not Hebrew families. Come.
Come.
Only 3 Hebrew nations. Okay, let's see what that is. Okay, get Genesis 14. Let's start with that. And Tazapaya,
Come.
real quick, Genesis 10 and read 25 one more time.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
Right. Now the reason why Eber is so prominent in history is because what his name represented. Mm-hmm. All right. Remember, the whole earth was of one language. It was Paleo, Hebrew, to Hebrew. Then the Most High divided the nations up because of the Tower of Babel. They were building it so high. And the angels complained. The Most High sent the angels down to divide the nations up. And he gave them what? Different languages. And these different languages divided the people up. Because you don't know what they're saying, But now where did the Hebrew go? Where did the Paleo Hebrew go? Nowhere.
Right.
Eber kept it. And his descendants. Eber kept it and his family kept it.
Come.
The Most High still preserved the what? The original tongue of all the languages.
The Lashawan.
Lashawan Quadash. Holy tongue. He preserved it. Under Eber's line, under Eber's lineage. Okay?
God.
So that's why when you read Genesis 14, 13?
The book of Genesis chapter 14, verse 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
The what?
The Hebrew.
Right. So the word Hebrew comes from the word Ibar or Eber. Kind of means from the past or pass over. Okay? Eber, from the past, pass over, or from beyond. Okay? Cross over or pass through. Where Eber mean or Ibar in Hebrew. Hebrew coming from the word Eber or Ibar, okay, in Hebrew means from the past. A Hebrew is one who belongs to the Hebrew family of Eber. So you got to come from that lineage. Now you might be a Shemetic from the Shemitic family, but you don't come from the lineage of Eber.
All Hebrews are Semitic, but all Semitics are not Hebrew.
That's right. How about that, And so this is what the Most High is showing us. Okay, now, so Abram the Hebrew, that's the first time you're going to read about the word Hebrew. When the Most High said Abram the Hebrew. Okay, they call Abram the Hebrew. Because it was his father's lineage that kept the Hebrew. Okay? And now when you read Joshua 3:16, let's see. Because it's going to show you now what the word Hebrew, the word Eba, where it come from, and what it historically means, it means to pass over. And when you read the history, when we had to pass over certain rivers, like the Red Sea, coming to the River Jordan, we had to pass through the River Jordan, and you understand, we passed through the River Jordan pretty much the same way we came through the Red Sea, That's what a lot of us don't know and understand. The Most High opened it up again, and we passed through it. When Abraham came from, Ur the Chaldees, y'all know about that story?
Huh.
Abraham from the Ur the Chaldees, and the Most High said, Abraham, get thee up and come from that land that you dwell in, and you're going to travel now to the land of Canaan. Well, in history, they call it that he traveled a fertile crescent. He traveled a crescent. Okay, that's where you get the fertile crescent from. Okay, but that was a term that was coined by Esau, fertile crescent. But they coined it because Abraham traveled that way from Ur the Chaldees through the river Euphrates, and then through that fertile land.
Right.
The most fertile land in the whole earth is that region, what they call the Middle East. It's not, that's Esau's term too, the Middle East.
Right.
Okay. But he traveled that fertile crescent. Ur the Chaldees was in the land known as today as Iraq. Okay. Because the Euphrates River and the Tigris River run through Iraq. And he came, and that's where Babylon, ancient Babylon was. That's where Nineveh was. Okay. That's where a lot of those empires was that you read about, especially ancient Babylonian empires were. Okay, in that area. And so that's where Abraham was born at, and his father Terah. And Terah, his father, worshipped idols and everything. Okay, so but the Most High still showed, and remember, Abraham's brother died early, and Abraham's brother Haran had who? Lot. He had Lot, and so the Most High showed Abraham and his father Terah to move from that area, the region of the earth, and to travel now to land of Canaan. That's what the Most High showed Abraham. He's going to bless him, bless his seed, and you're going to dwell in this land. Which you read in Genesis, right? So Terah passed away. Terah passed away in their travels, Abraham's father. And so now all Abraham had was himself and Lot, and the servants that he had with him. And he traveled what was known as the Fertile Crescent. Now, Abraham had to pass through the Euphrates River. So Eba also, the word, this etymology of the word means to pass through. Okay? So Abraham had to pass through the Euphrates to travel that fertile crescent to get to the land of Canaan. Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
The book of Joshua chapter 3 verse 16. That the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap very far from the city, Adam, that is beside Zartan, and those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea fell and were cut off.
This is Joshua 3:16?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And the people passed over right against Jericho.
They did what?
Passed over right against Jericho.
Right. They passed over right against Jericho. Meaning they had to pass over the waters. So the Most High had it again where they passed through the waters. The Jordan River into Jericho. And the Most High opened the waters up for Israel, for our people again to pass through. That's how we got into the land of Canaan. And the word Ibar, the word Eba, also means to pass through. Okay, go ahead, Up.
And the priest that bare the ark of the covenant of Yahweh stood firm on dry ground.
They what?
They stood firm on dry ground.
So what does that mean? That means the water rose up, like the Red Sea. Remember the Red Sea was split in half, and all of a sudden it's standing on dry ground. So that happened a few times in the history. All people don't read the Bible, so they wouldn't know. We do know about the Red Sea. They did a movie, The Ten Commandments. We know about that. But it happened again here.
The Jordan River.
Come on, Doc. Understand? Okay, go ahead, Doc. So they were standing on dry ground.
And the priest that bare the ark of the covenant of Yahweh stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan. And all the Israelites passed over on dry ground.
They did what?
Passed over
they
on
did what?
Passed over on dry ground.
Ibar. Pass over.
Ibar.
Yeah. Ibar means to pass from the past or pass over. Come. Pass through. We passed over a lot of rivers out. Okay, especially in our travels in the wilderness. Mosai was with us. Okay, come. Okay, was that it? Go on.
Until all the people were passed clear over Jordan.
Till all the people passed clear over Jordan. So that means they were going through waters or something, and all of a sudden it became dry so they can get through. On our way to Jericho. On our way to the land of Canaan. And when we got to the land of Canaan, what did the Most High say? Joshua, tell the military to slay everybody. Old and young, don't leave none. That's what he said. Because it was the land that the Most High promised us, correct? And you got those stinking Canaanites were there, Africans. They were there. Canaanites, Girgashites, Zebulonites, not Zebulonites, Sidonianites, yeah. Girgashites, you know the names, right? Got a bunch of shites in there, right? Come. The Most High told them to go in there and kill everybody. But what was our problem? We left some. And that was our doom when we left a few. The Most High said, because you didn't obey me, they're going to be a trap to you and a net to you.
Amalekites.
Okay? And what?
Amalekites.
Yeah, not Amalekites. No.
That's
Esau. That's Esau's seed. Okay? And so that's what happened. Was that it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. And get the one in Genesis 12. 1 and 7. Toss the fire up.
Come.
Get Genesis 31:21.
Come.
I'm showing you all this to show you the word Ibar. Okay? That it means to pass over, pass through. I want you to read yours first, Genesis 31:21, real quick.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 31, verse 21. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river.
He did what?
He rose up and passed over the river.
Ibar. Come. Passed over the rivers. Go on.
And set his face toward the Mount Gilead.
Right. That river that he passed over, the river Euphrates. This is Jacob. Remember Jacob had to flee Laban?
Con.
He took his wife, right? Took his children, took his wife and his family to flee Laban. Because his Rachel had took some of the idols. That was simple. That was simple. She took some of her father's idols. For what? You're fleeing, you're leaving. She took some of the idols, so of course Laban wants his idols back. So he going to charge Jacob with stealing his idols, but it wasn't Jacob, it was Jacob's wife, Rachel. Which was simple. What was she going to take the idols for? Going to start worshiping them, right? Right? So here comes Laban chasing after Jacob, and Jacob flee over the Euphrates River, pass through. Come? All right? Yakana. So I'm just giving you an idea of what Ibar represents. Go on, Yakana, Genesis 12, 1 to 7.
The book of Genesis, chapter 12, 1 through 7. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great. And thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee.
See, so that's Abraham. See, so we are the children of Abraham. Most of them bless thee, that bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. Come? Show you the kind of the power that we have. If we only come together, how much power we got. And all we gotta do is ask the Most High. Most High, see that Korean store over there? Curse that store for selling us, wigs and you know what I'm saying? Curse that Arab store for selling us pork and all that. Most High would do it, but we gotta come together in righteousness when the Most High do stuff like that. Come? Most High would do it, but we're not right. So the Most High took all that power, even the power of prayer. Every now and then, if you get an emergency or a situation and you pray to the Most High will help you a little bit here and there, right? But we're talking about as a people, as a nation, against our enemy. That's what we want. Come on that level. Go ahead, up.
And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
He departed from out of Haran, right? All right, so he traveled from Ur to Chaldees, stopped in Haran. I think his father passed away in Haran, Terah. And then from there, he went the rest of the journey. All right, but he had to pass through the Euphrates River. Okay, to get there. Okay, and they called it the Fertile Crescent. Go ahead. You read the 7?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Abraham departed as Slakia. And Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan
The
they
land of
came.
Canaan is what today? What's the land of Canaan today?
Jerusalem.
That was Israel. Why was it called land of Canaan at that time? Because the Canaanites dwelt there. Remember the Canaanites, the Gershites,
Right.
the Zidonianites, and all the ites, right? They dwelt in the land. They were cultivating the land. That's why when we got there from the wilderness, 4 years in the wilderness, the land was already set for us. All we had to do was take it over. Isn't that a blessing? What do you think is going to happen today? Who's over in our land today?
Amalekites.
Ashkenazi Jews with
Doesn't he cultivate the land for us? He's getting it all set for us. Look, they're natural slaves. So what's wrong with it? They're natural slaves. They're supposed to do it. They're doing it for us. They're getting it all ready for us. So we get into the land, houses are going to be there already. You know what I'm saying? The land's going to be cultivated. You ain't got to do no work. I'm not doing no work. Are you going to do any work? I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to have some slaves. And they're all going to be Edomites. Yeah, they're going to pick cotton. They're going to pick corn. We got some corn over there. They're going to pick corn and everything. Everything is set up. Our slaves are ready for us in Israel. Already set. Ain't that a blessing, huh? That's a blessing, huh? Come on. So the same thing here. Abraham traveled the land to the land of Canaan, and because the Canaanites dwelt in the land. These are Hamites. Come. Your brother, the Africans. No, they ain't your brother. But you act like you want to be your brother. If you didn't know the history of Africa, and the Africans, the original Hamites, they're a bunch of dirty bastards. Okay? You're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah came from Ham. That's Ham. Sodomites are Ham. Okay? You're talking about a man sleeping with another man, that came from Ham, huh? Okay? They're a bunch of vile, most hated forsakers of the Most High. So the Most High said about Ham. The Most High hate them too. Okay? But go ahead, read the 7.
And Abram passed through the land of the place of Sichem unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanites was then in the land. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
That's it, man. I just want to show you here. He had to pass through the Euphrates, travel. The further crossing, you know how many miles it is? From Ur the Chaldees to the land of Canaan. 800 miles. You walk a mile and you tired. You know what I'm saying? You start complaining to the Most High. 800 miles. It sounds like he did it in a few days, right? But no, 800 miles, right? And they didn't have no airplanes, right? So, right. And we start complaining. Remember, we walked in the wilderness for 40 years. In the wilderness, desert land, 40 years. You couldn't stay outside 1 hour, you start complaining. Right? So, you know, we're a bunch of spoiled people, man. That's the most I say, we're spoiled. Abraham traveled 800 miles to get to the land of Canaan and didn't complain. Was happy to do it. Come? Okay. I need Joshua 24, 1 to 3. And then we're going to almost finish.
The book of Joshua, chapter 24, 1 to 3. And Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for the heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and they presented themselves before Yahweh. And Joshua said unto all the people, Thus saith Yahweh, thy power of Israel. Your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nachor, and they served other gods. And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood.
Right. So now, it made a reference to the other side of the flood. Now, I had to do some research on that, because other side of the flood, one of the things is talking about the flood, Noah's time, right? You would think it's talking about before the flood. Of course, Abraham came, he was born after the flood, right?
Right.
So what was Joshua talking about? So I had to look it up. And that's, again, Esau's translation, right? The word is actually river. Okay?
Other side of the river.
Yeah, come.
Khan. Okay, Jordan River.
Right.
Khan.
So again, remember the word Ibar, what it means. To pass
Right.
through.
To pass through.
Pass
or over.
From
Right.
the past. So Joshua is giving a reference to the other side, he made the river. Remember this is during the time of Joshua, right?
Right.
We had just passed over the river. Remember the Most High opened up the river again, we passed through to the land of Jericho? So Joshua's making a reference to the river, Jordan River. Not the flood. So you have to, so you say, well, why the word flood there? You know, Esau, when he translated the Bible, put all kinds of words in there. That's why you have to go back to what? The Hebrew. You have to go back to that's why we're the Hebrews, right? So you got to go back to the original Hebrew. You look it up, and the word is Nahar. Nahar is a word that means what? Flood. So I go back to the original Hebrew, and in Joshua, that's in Joshua 3, right?
Yes.
About 24 and 3. And the word is Nahar. Nahar is the word for flood. I mean for river, excuse me, for river. Khan?
Khan.
For river, not flood. All right? So sometimes you have to go into the Hebrew because that would be confusing. You're thinking it's before the flood, during the time of Noah.
Right.
But Abraham wasn't born that time. Abraham was born after the flood. Okay? So that's what Joshua means. Your fathers came after the river, or the word is flood they got there, but it's river. Come. Read that one more time.
Salakia,
Yeah.
the word Nahar also references, it says a stream, including the sea, especially the Nile and the Euphrates.
There you go, Euphrates. Come.
So a huge river.
Huge river.
Good big
There you
river.
go.
That's it.
Go ahead, come. Go ahead.
Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers. And they presented themselves before Yahweh. And Joshua said unto all the people, Thus saith the power Yahweh of Israel. Your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time.
Right, now, if you put the word river there, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the river
In old time.
in old times. See, it make better sense, right? But
Right.
Esau, just one word, he puts all kinds of confusion, doesn't he? Unbelievable, lot. So that's why when you research the Bible, you have to get your Hebrew.
Right.
Because there's certain words that he throws in there, throws you off. And if you know the original, what the prophets wrote originally, you'll be thrown off. Okay? All right, that was it, right? So, yeah, I think that was it. So I just wanted to show you the word Ibar. See? To pass through, pass over, from the past. We are the original Hebrews. Only 3 Hebrew families. Okay? What are they? Yashar'Allah, Israel. Right, come?
God.
The Ishmael. Ishmael came out of Abraham, come? So when Ishmael says he's from Abraham's seed, he is. He's not lying, right?
No, he's not.
Not lying. But then the Most High comes back and says what? The Most High got everything, right? He knows the Arabs going to say that, right?
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The Most High says, nah. But from Isaac's seed is the chosen call.
That's right.
And the Most High know Lot seed, the Ishmael seed going to say that.
God.
Christ said, he said, we be Abraham's seed.
Right.
He said, I know you are Abraham's seed.
Right.
But you are of your father,
Your
the devil.
father, the devil, right? Exactly. Esau can say he's from Abraham's seed, right? Esau can say that. Esau can say he's a Hebrew, right? He can say he's Shemetic. He can say
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
But Esau's the devil. Right. So he's like the negative of Jacob. He's the negative of us. He's like, understand? You know, you see a carbon copy of something or a negative side or something of a picture. That's Esau.
Right.
That's why I said the most. I say he's contrary to nature. He's the negative side.
Right.
He's the negative. So the Most High gave him the earth and allowed him to take off all our nationality. Because he is. You know what I'm saying?
The sword on the
He is a Shemite. He is from the Hebrew family. But he's that negative side. He's just representing us in that negative.
Right. He's the evil twin.
He's the evil twin. Put it like that.
Right.
Isn't that something else?
Yeah.
And the Most High did that thing?
Yep.
Is he not taking advantage of the blessing that his father gave him?
Right.
There was no blessing for him.
Right. Exactly. So he's that negative twin. Right. So he's right. So the only Hebrew families come out from the lineage of Ibar, Eva, and then Abraham. Abraham is called the Hebrew, right? It's just Yashar'Allah, Ishmael, and you can say Esau. I don't see anybody else, do you? As far as the Hebrew families.
No, the Arab nation maybe know Ishmael, so no.
Right. But you do have 5 Shemetic families, right? But remember, Esau coined that word anti-Shemetic. You know, he's the devil. He just come up with all different kinds of words. But Kanye West is correct. I'm Shemetic too. So you can't label me as a Shemetic. If anybody that's Shemetic is Esau, because he showed the hatred towards his brother, right? Because Esau and Jacob were his brothers, right? He showed the hatred. And this is the last one I'm going to show. In Ezekiel 35:5 and Genesis chapter 27:41. He's the one that showed the hatred. And if somebody else can get Matthew 24:9.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah. Go on, you read it.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Now, who's anti-Shemetic now? Esau, the elite. They got a perpetual hatred against Jacob's
Right.
seed. Come?
What was that, Ezekiel 35, what?
And 5. I'm just moving kind of fast, but you get the scripture. Ezekiel 35 and 5, Tazapaya,
With that?
Genesis 27:41, and then Psalms 83 and 2. Go ahead, Tazapaya.
Genesis. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
Esau did what?
Esau hated
The
Jacob.
white man hates you. Get it through your thick heads. He's not going to change. Can a leopard change the spots?
Right.
No. Can that which is crooked all of a sudden become straight? Right. No. So our people are steady trying to get Esau to love them. It's not going to happen.
Right.
That's why the truth says perpetual means from long time, forever. So this is spiritual. His hatred is spiritual. He hates you spiritually.
Right.
Don't matter how much. That's why the Most High said, hand that join hands shall not go unpunished. So when you join hands with them, so when you marry them, and the Most High gonna put the spirit on them to come against you if you marry them.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Right.
It's going to happen. Okay? So go ahead.
He already been showing examples like that chick Leah Taylor.
Yeah.
When Chad Wheeler beat her up.
Beat her up.
Bad.
That
Yeah.
hatred is in them.
Yeah.
Well, it's in him. Watch
He
this.
told her,
Good
pray
lesson.
to me. And then he beat the brakes off of her. And then she came out and he said, you still alive?
Yeah. And I meant to kill you.
Chad Wheeler, you remember Chad Wheeler beat up Leah Taylor up?
The football
He
player.
beat her up real bad.
And the Edomite football player had
He
a
went and go 80 states.
black woman girlfriend.
Went go 80 states.
Beat her up.
And then she got up. And he said, you still alive?
Was it on video? Was that? Or I'm thinking of something.
No, it wasn't on video. He told her, you need to pray to me. And she didn't pray to him. And he beat the brakes off her real
See
bad.
how spiritual that is?
Yep.
He's saying, pray to me. He said that old spirit's coming out. I'm over you. I'm over you. You're a nigga. You're a concubine. You're a bed wench. Now you pray to me.
He's upset because he's watching these white folk kiss Hebrew Israelites' feet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It is.
So he went on and
You
took
might
it
have seen
on.
one of those
He took it
videos.
on. An attitude.
But the Most High said, he said, yeah, thy lovers, Israel, are going to murder you. You love this man, keep loving him, marrying him and all that, they're going to murder you. Most High going to keep that spirit. That spirit is, read it again, Tazapaya.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father
pertaining to that. Now, what the hell are all these people? Because they know the truth is going to come out. See? They don't want nobody to continue on with what Kanye is saying about, well, we're the real Judites. We're from the tribe of Judah, Israel. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
How come no one else is saying anything about that?
Well, the masses of Christians can't accept it because then they would have to agree with the
Yeah,
doctrine
we
of
have.
Hebrew Israelites.
Right, exactly.
And
So, that's it on that, Akim. Akwa. Hope you wrote those scriptures down. And so, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem, HaMashiach Yahushai. With this glorious Shabbat, and we always praise the Most High. But the Most High keeps his Sabbath all the time. So we got to start doing it too, right? The Sabbath don't stop because you stop. The Sabbath continues with the Most High. Our holy days continue. And in the heavens and the spiritual, they celebrate the Sabbath and everything. We're the ones not doing it down here. So I just want to say, all praises to Wada, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Hallelujah.
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 Shalom.
Shalom.